Tim Walz also going on a media tour, and he actually did a tough interview. I got to give him credit. He was on with Shannon Bream of Fox News, who, by the way, her hair
looks amazing.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh. It doesn't even look real. It looks so gorgeous.
It's so shiny and smooth.
And perfectly blonde.
Oh
like
my God.
Who is her colorist and stylist? We need to know. I mean, it's like
For
Fox
real.
magic.
She just looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
So, and she laid into him. And so we've got several clips to share with you because he tries desperately to redirect, to divert, to distract, to get away from the questions she's asking.
Can't do that with Shannon.
Not let him. The first one is on immigration.
The Wall Street Journal says this after you were chosen to join the ticket. As the Democratic governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz signed into law initiatives allowing immigrants in the country illegally to apply for driver's licenses, qualify for free tuition at state universities, and enroll in the state's free health care program for low-income residents. Are those not magnets to draw people here, many times on dangerous journeys for themselves? And why should your taxpayers in Minnesota or across the states pay for those programs?
Well, that's not the vice president's position, but I will say this. Minnesota ranks as a top 5 business state. We rank as a top 3 state for children living, and we're the top state for healthcare access. I would also add this. We also have some of the safest roads. Look.
What does that have to do with her question, you idiot?
Oh my God. And he's lying about it being a top business state. So there was an annual survey by chief executive that ranked Minnesota at 41 out of 50.
I feel like
so he's not even telling the truth about that, which had nothing to do with her
the
question.
Nothing to do with it.
Oh my God.
Dude.
Amazing.
Yeah. The fact that he went on this show, it shows me that they're freaking out. Like, I feel like I don't know if it's polls or because, I don't pay much attention to the polls, but maybe just the pulse of the nation. They were like, crap, we got to do something. Like, we got to put you on Fox. Because why would they do that? Because they have the friendly media in their pocket, in their bedroom. They are literally licking each other's faces. Okay. Like, why would they put him, the biggest moron on the planet, besides Kamala, on Fox? Why would they do that? I mean, because they knew that she was going to rip him to shreds. So the only thing I could think of is you got to get more exposure. You got to be folksy on the show, and you got to try to get some of these voters. I just don't understand the rationale other than the fact that they're freaking out.
Well, and his face every time that she's talking is like
deer in the headlights. Oh my God.
I know. And so, she redirected him back to the topic of immigration, and he's trying to say that that he's got a policy, that they have a policy. He keeps saying that word. I don't think he understands what that word actually means, but here he is.
The vice president has made it clear that she has policies that make a difference. Her border policies are the most strongest, the fairest we've seen. It's
but now, Governor, a lot of people, including your own party, would not join that statement. There are millions of people who have come here over the last few years that, they see this as an open border.
Well, simply, we have a policy. Donald Trump sees it as a political. Look, James Langford in Oklahoma, the Border Patrol agents, the Wall Street Journal, the Chamber of Commerce, all said pass this legislation. She's talking about solving the problem.
That piece of legislation does include the wall that you guys have been so, you've disparaged that. I mean, the vice president has as well. So I don't know if she really intends to move forward with that. But it was negotiated by 3 or 4 senators, and many Republicans came out against it long before President Trump indicated he didn't like it either. I want to.
Yeah,
she's not letting him get away with anything.
And she is a Disney princess, and so if they actually would have put a bulldog on him, can you imagine him against a Laura Ingraham
or Martha?
Martha would be great. Yeah, because
Shannon was great though. I thought she was great.
She's great, but she's so nice. You know what I mean?
She is. She's so lovely that it's hard to think of her as being a bulldog.
Mm-hmm. Right. It would have been nice for somebody to gut him.
You guys, it's time to talk about dogs.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, is right. If you have not tried Rough Greens for your dog, or now the new Meow Greens for your cats from Dr. Dennis Black, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, who is the founder, of course, of Rough Greens and now has a version for kitty cats called Meow Greens, you are doing your pets a disservice because they need a green health powder too. And I just want to tell you about some of the ingredients that's in Rough Greens. Sweet potato, which helps dogs with digestive issues like constipation, diarrhea. Wheatgrass, which helps their brain and body function with high oxygen content. Sunflower seeds, which enhances their immunity. Spinach, which reduces inflammation, which is so important for like dogs like mine that have arthritis and just, tender joints and like a lack of mobility as they age. It has parsley, which has their vitamins A, C, K, and then blackberry, which is rich in vitamins and minerals from blackberry powder. All stuff that your dogs need, because if they're just using the dry kibble, they really need more than that. And this tastes yummy. This is like a dressing for their food. So you can check it out. You can get it. You can try it for free and see if your dogs and cats like it. You can get a free Jumpstart trial bag of either Rough Greens for dogs or the Meow Greens for kitty cats by visiting roughchicks.com, RUFF chicks.com. Try it for free. And then the abortion issue came up, and she really pushed back on basically every talking point that he tried to get in there. She was not having it.
By what the law is there in Minnesota. Abortion Finder, a website that helps women find access, says abortion is legal throughout pregnancy in Minnesota. There is no ban or limit on abortion in Minnesota based on how far along in a pregnancy you are. You signed the bill that makes it legal through all 9 months. Is that a position you think Democrats should advocate for nationally?
Look, the vice president and I have been clear. The restoration of Roe versus Wade is what we're asking for.
But that
this is
law
a
goes
woman's
far beyond
right
Roe v. Wade
to make her own choice. The law is very clear. It does not change that. That was been debunked on every occasion.
But wait. Let's agree. What you signed is there's not a single limit through 9 months of pregnancy. Roe had a trimester framework that did have limits through the pregnancy. The Minnesota law does not have that.
This puts the decision with the woman and her healthcare providers. The situation we have is when you don't have the ability of healthcare providers to provide that, that's where you end up with a situation like Amanda Zaworski in Texas, where they are afraid to do what's necessary. This doesn't change anything. It puts the decision back on to the woman, to the physicians, and we know that this is simply something to be brought up to be very clear. Donald Trump's asking for a nationwide abortion ban.
Wait, he has said repeatedly that he will not sign a national abortion ban. Are you calling that just, it's a flat out lie?
Yes, of course, and Senator Vance has in the past said so too. Now look, they may see this as an election issue. We see it as a right of women to make their own bodily decisions. And that's what the states like my state have the ability to put that in. States like Georgia force women to cross the border, and then we have a death of Amber Thurman. So let's be very clear. Trying to cut hairs on an issue on this is not where the American public's at. They want the restoration of Roe versus Wade. Vice President Harris said she would sign it. That's what we'll do when we're elected.
But to be clear, the Minnesota law is far beyond Roe v. Wade. And about the Amber Thurman case in Georgia, her family has, and it's tragic, she is a young mother who left behind a young son. But what her family has said is it was a complication from an abortion pill that she received, and she didn't get proper care when she went to a Georgia hospital, which had multiple opportunities to intervene there. Her own attorney, the family's attorney, says it wasn't the Georgia law, it was the hospitals. What he claims is malpractice, not treating her when she clearly showed up in distress and still had the byproducts of her pregnancy because of that rare complication from the abortion pill. So just to be clear on the Georgia law and how her family and her attorney sees it.
She died from sepsis, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was complications from the pill. And they keep lying about that to politicize it. And that's not okay. And he needs to stop doing that.
He won't. Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah,
and it's hilarious that he's going to try to say Trump's lying about the national abortion ban when he lies about every last thing, everything.
Yeah,
and he
Trump
tries.
He said repeatedly over and over again, he's not going to do that. I mean,
and so Tim is just going to say, "Well, he's lying." Then you don't get to say that all that other stuff that you said is now untrue. Right. You said what you said, dude.
Yeah. I'm surprised.
So Kamala.
I'm surprised he didn't bring up Project 2025.
Right.
Honestly, because this is what they do. It's constant lying and fear mongering. to get emotional women, which is precise. I mean, I'll just say it, to get these emotional women who are one issue voters to go to the polls because they know they can prey on them, and they're doing it, and they do it. They continue to do it. This is what they are famous for this. Democrats. They're like, let's prey on these women and tell them they're going to take all your rights away. He just all he did was turn this over to the states, which is constitutional. There's nothing wrong with that.
Tim Walz also lied about tariffs, Trump's tariffs, because they're trying to make it sound like, oh, Trump's going to raise taxes on everybody. And Shannon put that to rest also.
Economists talk about Donald Trump's proposal to add a 20% sales tax will cost $4,000. Okay. That's everybody. That's not me saying it.
And just to note, that is a tariff, which, by the way, this administration not only kept most of the Trump tariffs, but they added their own as well. So that's got to be part of the conversation.
Just love that she does that. I love that.
I wish she would have called him a knucklehead.
Oh, she does. Well, I mean, she doesn't call him that, but she refers back to the fact that that's his excuse for all of his lies. I love that in this final clip, she lists them out, and she's like, "You lied about this and this and this and this and this."
And they put it.
What do you say to vote? Yeah. What do you say to voters who don't trust you? And here is this clip.
Against it long before President Trump indicated he didn't like it either. Listen, before we go, because I wish that we had a full hour, I want to give you a chance, because you called yourself a knucklehead this week, to talk about some of your misstatements. You've modified your story or explained that you misspoke about things involving your military rank, about carrying a weapon in war, your 1995 DUI arrest, using IVF to have your beautiful children, Gus and Hope, being in Hong Kong and China in the summer of 1989 during the Tiananmen events. A lot of people would say they couldn't get away with saying, I'm just too passionate, my grammar's not right, I'm a knucklehead. What do you say to the American people who think, I don't know that I can trust this guy with all those modifications to be the potential commander-in-chief of this country?
Yeah, well, I think they heard me. They heard me the other night speaking passionately about gun violence and misspeaking. And I got to be honest with you, Shannon, I don't think people care whether I used IUI or IVF when we talk about this. What they understand is Donald Trump would resist those things. Look, I speak passionately. I had an entire career, decades before I was in public office. They know, and I'm very proud of my 24 years in service and my record. I have never disparaged someone else in this, but I know that's not what Donald Trump does. They disparage everyone. The personal attacks.
Oh my God.
I will own up when I misspeak. I will own up when I make a mistake. Let's be very clear.
But
Let's
you
be
don't.
Very clear. Yeah. He's very clear about the fact that he is not clear, and he lies.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and they constantly go back to Trump. Both of these people, they are just obsessed with him. They cannot answer a question without invoking his name. They're just like Trump, 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 Trump.